Imagine your friend asks you to meet them in the park without telling you their exact location. Can you find them? Or if your family asks you to meet them in a huge shopping mall or an airport with multiple terminals, will you be able to locate them? You know what? It's possible because I've done it before. And it's not just one time, but I did it a few times. And if I can develop my psychic ability, you can do it too. It just takes 4 simple steps, which I'm going to share with you in this video. But first, let me share with you how all this begins. 5 years ago, I was in this group and we gathered in a park. We did our sharings and all the breathwork and exercises. Then the facilitator said, now let's practice using our feminine energy. Like, I want you to move around the park without a fixed location in mind. Just allow your feminine energy to flow and bring you to explore the park. And so I followed my energy. And I was caught to this particular tree. It was late in the evening. The lights from the street's lamp are very dim, and I couldn't see very well. But I was very drawn to this tree. I don't know, I'm just very drawn to the energy of this tree. And I just stood there and kept looking at the tree. Then suddenly, a chicken and a couple of its little chicks came out of the tree clucking loudly, and it scared the hell out of me. That experience really opens my psychic ability, especially when it comes to clairsentience, which is all about sensing energy. So I was thinking to myself, if I could sense the chicken hiding in the tree, can I sense humans too? And I decided to test it with my family. My brother always brings my mom to see the doctor, and sometimes we are arranged to meet in a shopping mall. They will come from the hospital, and I will come from home. And I'm like, what if I don't ask them which part of the mall they are in? Will I be able to find them with my intuition and psychic powers? To me, it's like a game of tag. I'm the chaser and they are the runner, and I'm supposed to find them. I thought this would be fun, and I love seeing my family's reaction when I just show up all of a sudden and they were like, hey, how do you know we are here? How do you come here so quickly? To me, it's very funny. This is how it all started, and now I'm calling this game the psychic tag game. And the point of sharing this with you is because the first step to developing your psychic ability is you need to have fun. You need to play with your psychic abilities. Oftentimes, especially for beginners, we are very stuck in our analytical mind. We are stuck in this black and white thinking, like yes or no, right or wrong. Or it's like we need to know specific steps to develop our psychic ability. We want to be doing it right. But when we become so serious and rigid, it actually is much harder to awaken your psychic abilities. We don't give ourselves the chance to explore freely and just play. So the first step is to bring an open and fun attitude to the game. We want to make our psychic practice as a game that you can play with yourself or others. Games evolve a sense of playfulness and fun. As long as you aren't too competitive, like I need to win this, then that's okay. It can be any game, and I'll share some ideas with you later in this video. But for now, let's just stick to this psychic tag game. The second step to developing your psychic powers is to choose your strongest ability. There are many different psychic abilities to choose from, but the 4 main ones that are suitable for beginners are the clairs. There is the clairvoyant, which is clear seeing. When you are playing tag, you can close your eyes and just try to sense where your family or friends are. You may receive some images in your mind's eyes. You may not be a specific location, but it may be a specific color like red or blue, or it may be an object like a coffee cup or a chair. You may not know exactly where the runners are, but at least for now, you have something to work with. For example, if you see a coffee cup in your mind's eye, maybe you can go to the cafe and check whether they are there. There is also the clairaudience, which is clear hearing. Your spirit guides may tell you a certain word or give you a certain sound. They give you some hints to where the location is. You can also ask some question and then quiet your analytical mind by doing some breathing exercise and wait for the information to come to you. Similar to clairvoyance, you may hear the word coffee cup, or you may hear the sound of cup clinging together, and or the barista preparing the coffee, and then it might give you some idea that your friends and family may be in the cafe. The next superpower is clairsentience, which is clear feeling. This is one of my strongest psychic abilities and the one that I use the most in the psychic tag game. Last week, my family and I arranged to meet in Changi Airport. It has 4 terminals and a very huge shopping mall. And I found my mom and brother almost immediately because I used my clairsentience. So what you need to do to access this clairsentience is to pay attention to your body and see where your gut is guiding you or leading you to. I use my hands a lot when I was at a junction, trying to figure out where to go or trying to make a decision. For example, at one point, I could take the Sky train or I could walk to Jewel, which is the shopping mall. I felt the energy of taking the Sky train with my left hand, and I felt the energy of walking to Jewel with my right hand. And because I practiced this quite a bit, right, I could feel the subtle difference in terms of energy. I felt the energy shift to my right hand a bit more, so I decided to walk. It didn't make sense to my logical mind. As I was walking towards Jewel, my mind was like, oh, this path is so long. Why I have to take this path? Why do I have to walk? Why can't I just take the Sky train? It was quite a walk to Jewel, even with the travel later. But it actually turns out to be a shorter route because later I realized that if I were to take the Sky train, I would be at the opposite side of Jewel and I have to walk all the way from the other side to find my family. So thank God my intuition led me to a shorter path. And I also use my hands to decide where I should go, whether I should go down a level or continue on this level. And just by using my hands and feeling the energy, it led straight to my mom and brother. When I came down the escalator and I turned to my left, I saw them resting on some benches, and I just ran out to them and say, "Hey," and scare them. There is no winding road. When you follow your intuition, it is a direct path. It guides me straight to my family members. The last psychic ability you can use is claircognizance, which is clear knowing. This can be a bit challenging to explain, so I'm going to use an example from a tag game. There was once my family and I arranged to meet in Vivo City, the largest mall in Singapore. There are 5 floors and it's rather huge. I came out of the train station and again I was using my clairsentience to guide me to my family, like up from basement 2 to basement 1 to the first level. And I was just walking straight to the other side of the shopping mall. And I reached this junction and I just stopped there. I was pretty sure that my family was there. So I look around, just turned myself 360 degrees, standing on the same spot to find my family. But I couldn't see them. I was like, why can't I see them? I'm very sure they are here. And at this moment, my brother came down from the escalator. And I was like, gotcha. So at that time, I just trusted my claircognizance. I just knew they were there. I didn't have any reason. There is just a deep sense of knowing. If I were just to move or continue walking and not listen to my intuition, I would have missed my brother coming down from the escalator. Clairsentience is what I use to lead me to my family, but claircognizance is what gave me the confirmation that they are here. So the second step is to use your strongest psychic abilities. The reason why you want to use your strongest psychic ability is because it helps you build your confidence and trust in your abilities. It gives you a positive confirmation. In school, we were taught to be all-rounded. We focus a lot on improving our weaker subject. But here we want to use our stronger psychic abilities and develop it until you have confidence in using it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you receive the information from. You could use any class. And of course, the more you use and practice them, the better you will get at them. But it could be a little bit discouraging, especially for beginners to use their weakest ability right at the start. And when your intuition doesn't give you the confirmation you need, you may start to become skeptical or lose confidence in your abilities. But what if you don't know which one is your strongest? Before I assess my psychic abilities, I always like to close my eyes and tune out the five senses. I want to breathe deeply and just pay attention to my bodily sensation and the subtle energy and start tuning within. If you are a beginner, you can do the same. You can go within and see what type of information you receive and just start from there. Do you hear something? Do you have a vision? Is your gut telling you to go in a certain direction? Or do you just know where to go next? If you find it difficult to do this, you may want to start with a daily meditation practice. Because if you practice meditation regularly, it's very easy to switch to this meditative state. Sometimes it's not even a matter of whether your clair is strong or weak. Sometimes it's about the ability that you are the most open to trusting. For example, you may hear a voice in your head, but if you are like, am I crazy? Am I hearing things? And you're not sure if that is your intuition or if that is just your thinking or rambling, that clairaudience may not be the best ability for you to start with. You may want to try other clairs or check information you hear with your gut or with what you see in your mind's eyes. It's easier to use clair that you are more willing to trust. The thing is, how do you differentiate between mental noises, ego deception, anxiety with your psychic powers? Earlier I mentioned how I found my mom and brother almost immediately. Because right at the start, I was misled by my analytical mind. I came out of the train station and Terminal 3 was right in front of me. And my mind was saying, why not just go to Terminal 3 and have a chat? If they were there and I went to somewhere else, I would have to come all the way back here to search for them. This sounds logical, right? Like you want to save time and energy. You don't want to go to the other terminal and then later come back. So I stepped foot in the shopping area of Terminal 3. But within a few meters, my claircognizance stepped in. I knew that they were not there. I'm very sure. I feel that they might have been here previously, but right then at that moment, I know that they were not there and I was very sure. The funny thing is, my brother actually told me that later they were there for a short moment. So my claircognizance was actually right about this. My analytical mind was telling me to search every corner in Terminal 3, leaving no stones unturned. But my intuition was like, no, they are not here. You can spend all your time here, but you're not going to find them here. So I listened to my intuition and quickly left the terminal and headed to Jewel, the shopping center. The third step to developing your psychic power is you need to discern between what is psychic information and what is mental stuff. Anything you receive from the universe, your higher self, your inner being, all this information comes from a very calm, loving, yet firm channel. It's never fear-based or anxiety-based. It's never a mental chatter. It's not overthinking. It's also usually not logical or rational. Like how my intuition asked me to walk to Jewel instead of taking the sky train. The SkyTrain is faster and less tedious, but it's not the best way to find my family. Your intuition will also not scold you like, if you don't listen to me, I'm gonna punish you. And even if you don't listen to your intuition, it's fine. Your higher self, your guides, will not force you to listen. Like when I was searching for my family in Terminal 3, my spirit guide just said that, okay, you can find here, but you're not gonna find them here. They never force me or pushes me to give up on my search. They will actually allow you to make mistakes and fine-tune your connection on your own. I found that beginners make this mistake, which is they don't want to make any mistake. They are afraid of making mistakes. If they get a wrong reading, they feel discouraged and they think that they are not gifted. But it's this mistake that we make that allow us to know what is the difference between psychic information and mental noises. Even when I was playing this tag game, there were a couple of times where I was unsuccessful. I listened to my mind instead of my intuition, and I ended up have to call my family or they will message me about their venue. But this mistake actually helped me to understand the subtle differences. I realized when it was a yes, it felt like this. And when it was a no, it felt like that. I started to know which hand has a stronger pull and which way I needed to go. It is very subtle, and if you don't pay careful attention to the energy, you will miss the signs. So making mistakes is the way to go. You want to make tons of mistakes, but at the same time, you want to pay attention to the subtle differences between your successes and failures. That's how you improve. But what if you're all alone and there's no one to play the psychic tag game with you? When I played this game, I actually didn't tell my family that I was playing this game with them. I just never asked them for their location. Sometimes I will text them, don't tell me where you are. I'm going to find you. I'm going to hunt you down. But as I mentioned earlier, there are many games you can play to develop your psychic abilities. Most of these games you can play alone. The fourth step to develop your psychic ability is to design your game. There are two main components to designing your game. The first component is that it must be something that don't have all the information on. And when I say information, I mean tangible information, like you can't perceive with your five senses. You cannot see it, you cannot hear it. The second component is you must ask a question, and there must be an answer at the end of the game, which allows you to check if you are correct or wrong. If there is no confirmation at the end, then you wouldn't know whether it's a hit or a miss. So you need a confirmation. So what are the fun games you can play? One very common one that I heard a lot about is when you're waiting for the lift, you can stand at the lift that you think will arrive first. You don't know for sure, and you can confirm it at the end. So this is a good game design. When I am walking in the park and I hear someone running behind me, I also like to use my intuition to figure out what the gender of the runner is, or just give me some description of how the person looks like or what they're wearing. When they run past you, you can check your answers. This is very great for developing clairvoyance. Sometimes I will hear the bus outside of my window, and I would have a feeling that my mom is back. And I would just take a quick peek, and the success rate is quite high. This game is great for developing claircognizance. Wherever you have a very certain knowing, you want to check whether your knowing is correct or wrong. Or if you are just waiting at a bus stop, tune into yourself and see if you can know which bus will arrive next without looking at your app. You ask a question and you check your answer with the physical confirmation. But my favorite game to play at home alone to develop my clairsentience is to just take a pack of playing cards and I'll just shuffle, 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 and I'll just split it into like two decks. And I'll just place my hands on the two decks and I'll just feel the subtle energy. And what you want to do is to find the deck with the highest amount. So, and you tap on the deck that you think is the highest, and you check your answer. Yeah, correct. So when you are correct, you put at one side of the table, and if you are wrong, you put on the other side. And at the end of the game, I will count how much cards do I get correct. Like what's the percentage? This is also a good way to see how much you have improved your psychic abilities. Because in the beginning, you may get a very low success rate, but as you play more of these games, you might find yourself getting better and better, and your success rate and the percentage will get higher. But what if you want to take a step further and you want to read other people's mind? You can watch this next video.